All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a first look at player housing, what they're going to do with it. Let's take a look. This is going to be one of the new features of the expansions. So I have a lot of questions about how they're going to do this, and this hopefully will answer those questions for us. A first look at player housing in World of Warcraft public and private neighborhoods. Neighborhoods! Blizzard has posted a first look at the World of Warcraft player housing coming in midnight, which includes public and private neighborhoods. The construction of the new housing system in Azeroth is underway, and we're taking you behind the scenes to give you an early look at what the housing development team has been working on. Watch your step and don't mind the dust. Hard hats are not required. Welcome home, adventurers. We're excited to kick off our first look at housing in World of Warcraft and share some of our philosophies and plans for the new feature. First up, we're focusing on our high-level design pillars for housing, as well as talking about a few key areas of housing as we lay the foundation for future discussions. We have lots to cover, so let's jump in. You guys aren't going to be a part of my gated community, I'll tell you that right now. Unless you're a sub. You guys, subs are going to be welcome in the community. Otherwise, nope. Fortifying housing with pillars. When developing such a large new feature, it's useful to start by defining its pillars. They help the development team get on the same page before we start building, as well as providing a guiding light when making decisions and identifying priorities. It's important to note that while these pillars are broad in scope by their nature, they aren't all encompassing. Just because something isn't mentioned in a pillar doesn't mean it's not important or isn't part of the feature. Sub-only neighborhoods, laughing my ass off, yeah. What can you do? And we'll be charging an HOA, exactly. Our 3 pillars for housing. Concept art for the new rugged decor. Boundless self-expression. Our highest priority is allow players to build a house that shows off their own personal taste or their warbands. Acts as a desired backdrop for role-playing, or just allows players to create something in a flight of fancy. The tool set should be easy enough for someone with no 3D experience to be comfortable with it and use it successfully. But it should also be powerful enough that players can surprise us with their creations or drill down to get the tiniest details just right. The gamut of decor options spans not just the cultures of Azeroth, but many expansions of World of Warcraft as well. Deeply social. World of Warcraft is more fun with other players, and housing should be no different. I was wondering about this. We talked about this. It's like, are we going to have a garrison situation where we're all alone in our garrison, sad? Or are we going to have more of like a class hall situation where you can actually interact with other players and stuff? So let's see what they decide to do. While players can enjoy housing purely on their own, its systems are designed at a fundamental level to encourage interacting, playing, and progressing with friends, neighbors, guilds, and a wider community in a meaningful way. Okay. Long-lasting journey. Housing is being built as an evergreen addition to the game, with its own roadmap reaching across multiple patches and into future expansions. Housing isn't something players should expect to finish, but instead continue to look forward to the next housing release. Be it new content or systems, this is a long-term commitment for us as developers and offer player rewards all along the way. One more important note, even though it's not an explicit pillar, wide adoption is primary consideration for us as well. Most players should want a house in Azeroth, and if players want a house in Azeroth, they can have a house in Azeroth. Furthermore, housing is being designed to scale with the player's interest. If someone wants to spend dozens of hours a week on their house, that's great. If they're only interested in coming and going once or twice a month, that's great too. I wonder if we're gonna have to play tax. I immediately think, like, if you have a house, do you think is it gonna be an economy soak where you have to like pay tax? I think it's possible. Didn't they do that in property taxes in game? They've done it in some places. I play this game to escape reality. It's entirely possible. Like, you have to buy WoW tokens to pay your your tax. All right, let's see this. Zoning in on home. We've seen a lot of discussions and speculation from community on where players will be able to have houses. We decided early there will be 2 housing zones available at launch, one for Alliance and one for Horde. You know what I really liked about New World is that the housing was in the cities. I thought that was a genius idea. You know what I mean? You'd have like your main towns and cities, and the houses were actually inside of them. You know what I mean? I thought that was really cool. The Alliance Zone takes inspiration from Elwyn Forest with touches of Westwood and Dustwood, and the Horde is an inspiration on Durotar, its coastline, and Ashara. There are two main reasons we have this decision. Having many housing zones conflicts with the second pillar of designing a feature that is deeply social. In a world where players can live in many different zones, they become increasingly spread out and even aggressive sharding. The chance of seeing other players, much less interacting with them, drops quickly. Putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work. We'd much rather do a great job with a small number of zones and then do a passable job on a large number, or come up with solutions that take the player out of the world into their own personal instance of a zone. We chose these as a starting point because of how iconic they are for respective factions and how much they feel like home to so many players. We're excited for what we're able to accomplish with the two zones, and we'll be sharing more of what it means in future updates. Outfitting your home. All right, let's keep going. Concept art for the new folk decor. Similarly, there have been discussions in the community on whether housing will be pay to play or... Is housing going to be pay to play / win or not? Along with other conversations around real world money, we've been very aligned in our internal conversations that housing is designed to be primarily player first and not revenue first. Okay, well, we'll see about that. Housing will offer hundreds and hundreds of decorations and house customizations via in-game rewards, but will also offer a small number of items in the cash shop as well. Oh, there it is. There's going to be a small number of items in the cash shop, and I'm sure they won't be the best items. There's no way. This is comparable to how transmog and pets are currently handled in game versus the shop. We want to allow players as many options as possible for creating their perfect home in Azeroth. That's so nice. A home for everybody. Okay, let's see here. As part of the focus on the wide adoption, we wanted to ensure that housing is available for everyone. If you want a house, you can have a house. No exorbitant requirements. Yo! Hello! Skull Kid TV. Thank you very much for the raid, man. I appreciate that. We're just checking out this new feature coming in next expansion. No exorbitant requirements or high purchase costs, no lotteries, and no onerous upkeep. Yeah, thanks for the shout out. Good job. Onerous upkeep. And if you keep your subscription lapses, don't worry, your house doesn't get repossessed. Your houses are also shared amongst the warband with your different characters who are able to come and go as you see fit. So your orc character can hang out with your alliance house without a problem. Housing rewards are also shared across your warband, so you're able to use decor collection no matter which character earns it. Okay. Furthermore, it's not just warbands that cross factional lines, but friendships as well. So you'll be able to live in or visit your friends' or guildmates' houses and their neighborhoods with minimal restrictions regarding faction. For example, while it's not possible for your human character to buy a house in a horde zone, your troll character in the same warband can, and then your human can use it as if it was their own. That's cool. Wait, so you're going to be able to share houses. That's interesting. I was wondering about that. You can actually have a guild house. Maybe you can set it up so like your house is just for me and my warband, or it's for this group of people, or it's for my guild, or whatever. Will you be my neighbor? Inspiration concept art for what the new Horde neighborhood could be. Before we go, we want to mention the concepts of neighborhoods as a small tease. Houses are organized into roughly 50 plot neighborhoods, letting players live next to each other, work together, and share in the rewards of being a part of the neighborhood. Neighborhoods are instant, but crucially also persistent, so your neighbors can be your neighbors for years to come. Neighborhoods also come in two flavors. Public neighborhoods, which the game servers are responsible for creating as needed and maintaining. Private neighborhoods created by groups of friends or guilds. So we can make a neighborhood. I was wondering about that. That's kind of cool. So as a stream and as a community, we can make a neighborhood. Or like, you know, that's kind of cool. So while individual players can have a house, a community can have a neighborhood. I want a frickin' neighborhood. This is just an initial look at the blueprint we've been working on for housing. There's a lot more ground to cover, details to get into, and we look forward to your thoughts and feedback. I think this sounds great so far. I think, yeah, I like the idea of neighborhoods where you can have like an instant space, they're both private or public. You know, if it's public, you're probably gonna have some neighbors that you don't like. I do wonder though if they're going to charge like property taxes. Is there going to be gold to upkeep your house? I feel like there will be. You want to have a home, it's going to cost you. I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen. Can I please move into Ruki Heights? Yeah, Ruki Estates. It's going to be available. You guys can join the gated community for a small fee of your Twitchy P, your monthly Twitchy P. You're in. As long as you pay your fees. I'm just kidding. That's cool, though. Yeah, that's exciting. It's going to be a new feature for Midnight. What do you guys think? Control F, upkeep. And no onerous upkeep. And if your subscription lasts, no exorbitant requirements or high purchase costs, no lotteries. Yeah, so I guess it's not going to cost a lot. Cool.